Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good evening, guys. This is DTM Real Talk, and guess who's back?
Hey.
Marc and Chrissy. Last week, you heard the story, how they met. You heard how they tunneled through the y'all heard how they did that. I thought that was incredible. And Marc, thank you so much for explaining the difference in the man's brain and the woman's brain. And that tells us why we act like we act, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. We all should just focus on that and say, whoa, wait a minute, let's try to understand each other here, you know? Mm-hmm. But anyway, this week, we are going to hear where they are now in their marriage after 29 years. Something had to be working, and why? So we're going to let y'all have it. So There you go. Did I just throw you out there or what?
Well, we've been married 29 years. All our kids are grown. So they're 27, 25, 23, and 21. We have the 21-year-old is still at LSU. 2 of them married, 2 of them not.
Okay.
And so we're empty nesters. My mom and Marc and I live in the same house together. We had to get an empty nest.
We get to go on vacations and not worry about the kids and just take off together.
We had to get an empty nest dog. So
You got a dog?
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Not mine.
I wanted one that fits in my purse. I wanted a purse puppy, and we ended up with
without
this
a purse puppy.
Gargantuan that's going to be 80 pounds when
oh my gosh,
it's growing. And then our youngest kid also is having us dog sit this summer. So
come
here. That's where we are right now. I can't.
So wait a minute. Let's talk about this purse puppy. Let's talk about it.
You know what?
Okay. I was gonna. Oh no, you did not.
This is our purse puppy.
Yeah.
That's the purse puppy.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Look, I was thinking about getting the purse puppy, but I was scared I was gonna step on it.
Yeah, well, she was 13 pounds when we got her, but
he got involved, and then we ended up with a monster. So
oh my goodness.
Back out, or else they're gonna be all over us. Come on.
Oh my goodness. So okay, so you guys 29 years married, kids grown and gone. So how are you working? How's that communication thing going now?
I think it's better than ever. One thing I would like to say is a really wise friend of ours told me when the kids were little, I was kind of feeling like I didn't have any adult conversation. And I told this friend of ours who's about 10 or 15 years older than us, I said, I feel like all I do all day is feed babies and white butts and noses. And she said, she just pointed out to me that there's different phases of life, you know, and that phase was going to pass. And she talked to me about what her life was like, and they were recent empty nesters. And she was right. You know, a lot of the things that we talked about last week with you about our communication when we were young was a phase. I think when you're in early marriage, you have a lot of differences to work out. Like Marc talked about coming from a broken home. I came from a home that was very, very loving, but my dad died, and I grew up with my grandmother and my mother. So I came from a Christian background where Jesus was vital to me. He came from a non-Christian background, and all those things you have to figure out, well, how do we think about marriage? Well, how do we think about kids? Well, how do we think about finances? Well, how do we think about conversation? Well, where do you want to live? And how are we going to decide where we live and what jobs we have and when we move? And all those things are from totally different backgrounds. And that's when you get in arguments. Or how do you feel validated? What's your love language?
Right. Most people have
love
no clue.
languages.
Most people have no clue about that.
Yeah. So
one of our biggest arguments that we had on our honeymoon, we drove through Texas. So we were in the car for like 12 hours a day and things like that, just driving. I mean, and we just had all these deep conversations to get to really, and we already knew each other for 2 years, but then like now we're talking about what are we going to do with kids and things like, and our biggest fight up to that time was, are we going to send kids to public school or private school? Because she grew up in New Orleans and she was not going to send the kids to some of the public schools around here. And I grew up in Florida and we had great public schools. And there's just all these crazy things that you never think. I know.
But I think nowadays, if we do argue, we're coming at it from a different place. And that's one thing I would like to encourage young couples with, is to have a long-term view.
Never, ever use the word divorce.
Right.
Period.
Not even in anger or joking. It's not funny. It's just not funny.
It's the number one way to get yourself divorced is if you have that in your arsenal and pull it out, and never, ever drop the atom bomb on the other person. There's a way to have an argument. And there's a way to escalate arguments. And a lot of couples I see go right to the bomb, right to the.
Explain what you mean when you say the bomb.
What you know will hurt that person.
Okay.
You know your spouse's deepest hurts and fears. And you can either help them to overcome them, to even hide them, to ignore them, whatever. But if you decide to drop it on them in the middle of an argument,
bring it up and rub it in their faces, so to speak,
you're destroying trust. You're destroying any ability to communicate. You're destroying them at their very core. And we talk about that as being like the hydrogen bomb, that once you use that, you've obliterated everything.
Wow. So
if you're gonna have fights, use bows and arrows. Don't use tanks, don't use bombs, and just don't allow yourself to get to the point where you're willing to destroy the other person, because that's the person that you said till death do us part. And if you allow these things like the word divorce, oh, I'm going to divorce you. Well, it may just come true, because in your mind, that's a possibility. But we've never allowed ourselves that possibility. So we get in a big fight. It's like, well, you're kind of screwed because you're stuck with me, and we got to figure this out.
Get over it, right? Get over it. Huh?
Get over it.
I think over time, the reason our communication has improved is just living life together, and the hurts that come with life, the really painful things
together.
He's always been there for me and told, and so through the years, I've just value him more and more.
That's beautiful. You said you value him. So in what ways I know you tell him, but in what ways do you show that you value him? Address that.
I can tell you what he does for me.
Okay.
It's something so small. It seems so silly. He'll cover me up at night.
Aww.
You
tuck her in, Marc. You tuck her in.
And he gets me water. Yeah, he makes my coffee for the morning.
Okay.
I cook.
She feeds me.
What do I do for you?
Another thing that we've always done is try to go to bed together.
Eat meals together. Go to sleep at the same time. Unless like the other person's not feeling well or some extenuating circumstances, but like 95% of the time we go to sleep together, so we can chit chat before we actually fall asleep.
See, all those things are very important. I'm sure you guys are listening. I hope y'all listening out there. Don't drop no bombs. Use arrows. Don't go to bed mad. Chit chat. Y'all men, tuck that lady in.
Get her one. It's the little things. It really is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I'll tell you another thing that women can do is, and this, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to go back to the early years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I never was a fix-it kind of guy. Okay. I'm a science guy, a researcher, and all this kind of stuff. And so we get married, we got this house, and the dryer broke.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I'll take a look at it. Right. And she's saying, please don't, because you're going to do something to it and it's going to cost even more money. And I'm saying, we don't have any money. So either I look at it or we have a broken dryer. Just let me take a look. And so we have this back and forth. I finally said, just let me take a look at it. Fine. So I go down, we had a basement at the time. I go down in the basement and I look at the dryer and I take it apart. And I find that it's really not that hard. And there's this belt that just slipped off. And let me give it a try. So I slide the belt back on and I put it back together and the dryer works. So I come upstairs, I say, I fixed the dryer. She said, you what? And she runs down to try the dryer. But then after that, she went and told every one of our friends how I fixed the dryer. And I'm feeling really good about this. You know, like I'm a guy now. And then the next thing that broke, I'm like, we really need to call a repairman. She said, why don't you take a look at it? I don't know how to do this. You fix the dryer. And over the years, I'm willing to do things because she believes I can.
Yes. And she valued you. I think she valued you. Yes.
And what I find is I want to be the guy that she really thinks I am. And if couples would understand that, I hear so many couples complain about their spouse. You can
actually make your husband a better husband.
Yes. And that
you can make your wife a better wife by believing in them and encouraging them instead of telling them they can't do it or they're dumb or, you know, you're not able to get, you know, let them try to be the man that you want them to be. Let them try to be the woman that you want them to be.
Right.
I'll talk to men and they'll say, well, you don't understand my wife. She's not like yours. I say, well, my wife wasn't like she is now when we first met. But she is who she is now, in part because I learned how to love her and how to invest in her. And what happened was this amazing woman just flourished. And the same the other way. I'm not who I was when we met.
Right.
And the only reason I am, if I'm a good husband, it's because I had a wife making me into a good husband. Not like, oh, I'm going to make him do this, but truly valuing who I was. And I just wanted to be better.
Wow. Very good. Very good. So let's see. So what would you say to the couples out there? Like I said last week, I wanted you to address this. Where you are now, you've told us where you are now, how you've hurdled over the lack of communication. A little something going on. Y'all know what to do. You know how to deal with it. What do you say? Who gets the credit for that? I mean, what do you say? I know she does. I don't know. Talk to the people. Just tell the people how they can make a better marriage, especially the couples. How can they have a better marriage?
Well, we put Jesus first in our marriage. Marc wasn't saved when we were married. That's, by the way, not the way to do things. If you are a Christian,
there's no guarantee that's going to work.
Going outside of God's will, and you know. But he had.
So God did a boomerang on y'all because he wasn't.
He had grace on that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Marc actually asked Jesus to come into his life and be his Lord and Savior on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, we went on the honeymoon I'm telling your story for you.
Go ahead.
And he said he really felt that he had a hole in his life, that he just had emptiness, that was something was just missing, and he knew there was more to life than what he was experiencing, and he thought that I would fill that in his life. And when
all the Disney movies and everything, you find true love, and now you're just going to be overflowing with true love, and it didn't happen.
And on the honeymoon, he realized that although he still loved me and we're married, that he was still empty.
He was still empty. Wow. On your honeymoon, that was off the chart. Tell me what God came to, man.
It was actually the end of the honeymoon. We had a 2-week honeymoon. We did a week driving around, and then a week at our new house. And then we came back to the church that she grew up in.
Here in New Orleans.
And I had visited there a few times, and I realized that here I should have been totally fulfilled with everything. I had everything that I had wanted, and still was just empty. And that was it in church that moment. The Lord. And I mean, he completely changed everything.
Wow.
That's huge in our marriage, because we're living for something bigger than ourselves. We're living for the glory of God in this world. And our desire is to bring him honor through our relationship.
Okay.
And so there's more to it than my needs, his needs, or even us together. I mean, the Bible says that the marriage shows people what God's love for us is like.
Wow.
And what Jesus's love for the church is like. And that's really super important to us, that we have to make this work, because it's not like we have to, and we're just
all right.
like we're just stuck with each other now. No.
Right.
But if divorce is not an option, and you're going to be living with this guy the rest of your life, it better be good, because I don't like to be miserable. So,
I mean, and we've known people who've been married 50 years, and you wonder, why have they been married 50 years? So just because you've been married a long time doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Right.
Happy. Oh yeah, I've been talking to some couples, trust me. And that's why, actually, guys, you guys should tell me thank you. Not y'all too, but y'all should tell me thank you out here listening, because I kept hearing, you should do something with marriages. You should have marriages. I said, okay. Let me see married couples who bold enough to tell it. And I thank you guys for coming on, sharing a little bit of your journey in your 29 years. So this is short, but we're going to ask Marc to give a little encouraging word to the folks out there as couples. And Chrissy, you talk to the folks out there that want to be married.
Okay.
They're dating. Okay, you first, Marc.
There's a couple things that I'd like to say to couples. First, I would challenge you to find couples that have a good marriage and get to know them. When we first got married, we had couples that were our age. We had couples that were 10 years older. We had couples that were 20 years older and even 30 years older. And we tried to spend as much time with them as possible and say, hey, how do you do this? What, and just get real with people and listen to them and let them guide you. That's totally invaluable.
Wow.
I think every couple should do that, because you don't know what the heck you're doing. Just admit it. You don't know what you're doing. And then
making it up as we go along.
Right. And I would say, just like having the Lord at the center of your marriage is just critical. Marriage is what God gave to us. So he knows what to do. And when you don't have the answers, and when you don't understand the way your spouse is thinking, and she sounds like an alien from another planet, and you don't get what's going on, well, he knows.
Yeah.
Pray for your spouse. Pray that God would mold them into the person that he has for them to be, that they would be able to reach their potential. I love when people are amazed by my wife. I mean, I don't care about them being amazed about me because I'm amazed by her. Everybody else should be amazed by her. And if that's the goal, then this marriage is going to work.
Right.
You know, I don't understand when people complain about their spouse, because I don't want to complain about my spouse to anybody but her. I'll complain to her. But why would I? I heard somebody say one time, he said, you know, I was around this guy and he always used to talk about how dumb his wife was.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Oh, you don't understand. My wife is so dumb, so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. And he said to the guy finally, he said, you know what? You've been married to her for 25 years. If she was stupid when you first met, well, shame on her. But if she's still stupid, that's your problem.
On you.
And I think that's really true.
Wow.
You know, Kristen stepped out a few years ago. She had stayed home with the kids and even homeschooled the kids.
Made it sound like I stepped out on you.
No.
He did make it sound like that. Like, wait a minute, now, girl, you were tipping in the night. Wait a minute.
Oh, that's another thing. You will be attracted to people outside your marriage. When you find yourself attracted to somebody else, run. Don't.
Brothers, y'all hear that?
Friends.
Y'all hear that? Women, y'all hear that?
Don't be friends. I'm not saying that you can't be friends with people of the opposite sex, but if there's a physical attraction or anything like that, or even emotional attraction that you know that's more than just a casual friendship, run. Don't allow that.
Best advice.
Yeah, because I once heard that somebody said more marriages have ended in tennis doubles partners than anything else. And
wow.
Anyway, I don't remember what else I was talking about.
You done made Kristen forget what she's supposed to be saying.
Okay, I would say to people who, what am I saying? People who want to be married?
Yeah, couples that are dating or are speculating, spectating, whatever.
Right.
Well, I guess first I would say, don't come into a marriage needy, expecting the other person to complete you. That if you want a 10, you got to be a 10.
Say that again, girl.
You want a 10, you got to be a 10, because 10s don't go out with 6s. So, and that's emotionally. Are you emotionally healthy?
Right.
If you want physically fit, be physically fit.
Right.
On a spiritual 10, be a spiritual 10. Like, be in your word, be in prayer, be with the Lord. And because if you come in needy, you're going to drain the other person, but you're still never going to get what you need.
Yes.
It's going to be enough, because, even though Marc is my best friend, and I will tell y'all out there is such a thing as true love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because every night I go to bed next to my best friend in the whole world. And I love him more than I did 29 years ago.
Wow.
Take trips, just the two of us, just to get away together.
We go on dates.
It's so great.
I mean, but there have been nights, and I'm sure there will be nights when he's not enough, and he has to go to sleep maybe, or he just can't keep up with me emotionally, or my worry is bigger than anything that he can handle. And I have to turn to my real true husband, which is Jesus. Always enough, and it never goes to sleep. And
right.
So I can't drain him, and he can never fill me up.
Wow.
He's been able to complete me. He can't.
I can't.
This one.
Not the Lord.
This one. He can't complete me. I'm too needy. So that's some things I would say is don't come in needy. Get filled up. And also have a long-term view. This marriage is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Absolutely.
And there are phases of life. And if you don't like the phase you're in, don't worry, it's coming. It's going to change real quick, you know. Right. And each phase brings heartache and joy. I guess, especially to the women, I would say, don't wish it away. You know, if we were only married, I'd be happy. Oh, if he would only get me a ring, I'd be happy. If we could only have a house together, I'd be happy. If we could only have a baby, I'd be happy. If they were potty trained, or now, you know, if they could only go to the right high school or whatever, don't wish it away, because they say, and I've found this to be true, that the days are long, but the years are short. It goes by real quick.
It does.
So don't wish it away. Enjoy every moment. I've enjoyed all the different phases. I'm planning on enjoying this phase to the fullest.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm told, and I believe it's through your obstacles that you grow. And I thank you guys for growing and me being a part of hearing about that growth.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it.
Well, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure. And this DTM Real Talk. And what we doing? We just keeping it real. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.